Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Sandy. This is Sawing with Sandy. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I'm out here where I often spend much of my time. That's in the middle of the woods. Now it's a beautiful crisp morning, as you can tell by the fresh snow on the ground, but I'm out here in an area that I typically don't get to until the winter time. Now this area was hit by a big storm, just like many other areas I've showed you before, but this area is surrounded by wet, low-lying areas that I can't get to with equipment like ATVs and tractors. And so what I do is I wait until the winter time to get in here, which is, as you can tell, why I'm here today. The winter is setting in, things are freezing up, I can get to it. Now I had a bit of a jaunt to get here this morning. As you could tell, I had to pull that sleigh across some rugged terrain, but we made it. And because the snow is not quite deep enough for the snowmobile yet, I will hold off on that a little bit. But this area was impacted by a big blowdown probably about a year ago. This used to be completely covered by conifers. It was quite dark in here, very dense. And as you can see, that's the complete opposite now. You can see the sun sort of hitting the side of the hill over there, kind of open. So I'm in here, I'm cleaning out any of the remaining trees that are on the ground. This is what I tend to do in the wintertime, collect firewood, things of that nature. I also noticed, because I haven't been here in a while, there's some new trees like this hardwood here that'll get cleaned up, cut up, and that way I can haul it out of here as soon as I get in with the snow machine. Now this area here, because it has recently been blown down, it's going to eventually get refilled here with all these small trees. They'll build up. We'll also get a whole bunch of these spruce. You can see the small green trees there. They'll fill in as well, and eventually this will go back to a very dense forest. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do, I'm getting in here, as I said, getting any remaining trees out of here that are any good for firewood, making sure some of these dead standing trees don't fall on me. And I'm also going to take stock of what my trails are like. And let's go over this way, because the trail I normally use, you can see the orange marker there, goes up that way and then down that way. Well, it also goes this way and it goes down through there. And so what I'm doing today, because this has really grown in over the last few months, is I'm going to go through that area and just brush it back a little bit. If you can imagine, once this gets packed in with snow, you're going to have all these branches hitting you in the face with snow, and that's no fun on the snow machine. So what I'm doing is I'm using a brush cutter today, and this brush cutter is what I pretty much brought you guys out here to show you. Check this baby out. Oof. That thing's not light. This thing is brand new to me. It's certainly not brand new. I recently picked this up off my local marketplace. This is a Husqvarna 165 RX. This thing is probably older than I am. 65 cc's, weighs about 24 pounds. That's without fuel. So it's no lightweight, but it definitely is, well, it's going to hopefully put the hurting on those trees here today. Now I picked this thing up relatively cheap. Got to set it down, it's so heavy. I picked it up relatively cheap. I picked it up for 50 bucks, and here was the deal with it. The guy said it didn't run. And I like to take chances every once in a while with old equipment like that and see if I can get it running. I figured 50 bucks, I'd take that chance. Sure enough, brought her home, took the carburetor off, dumped out the old fuel, cleaned the air filter, put it all back together, and sure enough it ran. So that's a pretty good thing. You're going to notice when I try to fire it up here today, the recoil is a little bit off. Probably could use a replacement, some sort of cleaning, but for now I think it works, and so we're going to keep at it. Now I haven't even sharpened the blade yet, so we're going to see how this goes. And the truth is, I've never even used a brush cutter, so I've got all the safety equipment on today. I'm gave this thing a good once over, so I'm pretty certain it's safe. But I can tell you, just sort of hearing stories about brush cutters and that, I can tell you, you don't want anyone near you, and you certainly got to be careful, because these things with that saw blade on the end here, I'm stuck down here with that saw blade on the end here, could certainly do a bit of damage if it were to get away from you. So we're going to see how it does. I'd say the edge on it is still pretty good. You can still replace these blades and buy them and even sharpen them, so I'm not concerned if it is dull. But yeah, anyways, we're going to go down there in just a second. We're going to fire this thing up. Hopefully it works. A little bit chilly today, but it's a beautiful morning. Here we go. All right, guys. Well, I got to tell you, that is hard work. Now that thing weighs about 24 pounds, as I said, without fuel in it. I don't know how much fuel goes in it, but it's definitely no lightweight. That thing's old as the hills, but I got to tell you, it's solid as well. That thing was cutting real well, despite the fact that blade was rusty and everything else. Cutting really, really well. If you guys can see, I've cut a nice path and not that long a time here. You can see I cut all these raspberry bushes down and all the small little saplings and spruce that are growing up here. Now I'm gonna have a nice trail that I can get down with my snow machine. And if we look up this way, you guys can see how nice and open that was. If I were to left it, it ends up looking like this. And notice how dense that is. You wouldn't be getting through there too easily. In fact, this trail, when I first started making this a trail, it actually looked like that, and so I don't want it to revert back to that. So I'm going to probably have to come down and keep it brushed fairly regularly. Anyways, this Husqvarna 165, I tell you, it's got a lot of juice to it. As I said, it's not very light. Definitely a workout for a guy like myself, but very, very effective. Now, I do respect this thing because the odd time you would have seen where the blade caught on a stump or a log on the ground and then it shot out a little bit. So I found it very important to have that harness over my shoulder so the machine stays in the spot and it can't come back towards me. But I think as we go, I'll continue to get better at it. As you get better and more familiar with stuff, inevitably it'll be even more safe, and that's what I'm looking to do. Definitely want to be effective, but definitely don't want to get injured. So I'm going to keep at her here. Came from there, I'm going to keep going that way. If you look down there, you can see it's still pretty dense, so we'll continue on. All this brush here I don't even have to clear away because now the snow can go over it. And before long you'll see me out here with my snow machine and probably out here getting some of these logs because, whoa, if we look out here, like, there's all kinds of logs in here and most of them I just can't get to. Some of them I can though, like there's a few right there that I'll try to cut up and bring up to this main trail here. Some of these cherries, the odd time they fall as well, so we'll get them into position. We can get them out of here, and then we got some firewood. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you own one of these, let me know down below. Is there anything I got to watch out for, anything I need to know maintenance-wise, long-term? Love to hear about it. You guys all take care in the meantime. If you like this video, give her the old thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.